Okay, next stage is now to fit the 360 imaging transducer. We're going to mount it off one of the Talon jack plate mounts that we've installed earlier, and we're going to fit the optional tilt bracket, which is 606162 part number, and this just enables us, as it suggests, just to tilt it forward or back. So if we're going through any low areas or anywhere where we actually need to lower the height of the overall Talon and 360 imaging transducer, we can do that. So we'll just go through what's in the box if you follow me down. This is designed actually for the Talon. This is just a bar to install on the Talon when you tilt it over, which we're not going to use for the 360. Obviously we always get the screws, we get the grease to lubricate the screws so they don't bind up, and we get the actual tilt bracket. So as you can see, as with most Minn Kota products, it's very heavy duty. So it's built obviously with the strength in mind for the Talon. So it's well and truly over-engineered for the 360, but it'll do its job really well. So we'll get this bolted up. We'll go back to the 360 transducer. So in the box, you obviously get the transducer itself. That's on the telescopic pole. We get the two parts to the bracket setup. So they're the two parts. That part bolts onto the tilt bracket. That slides into the 360. So we can adjust. You can see there's heaps of notched holes. So we can really fine tune what angle we need it to be on with those. And also with the slide section, we can really adjust the height that we want the 360 bracket to be on. We also get the power lead, and we will have heading sensor transducer. So this just lets the 360 transducer know which way's forward, essentially. So it can place top of your screen to forward and away it goes. So we need to install that, and we also need to install the Ethernet cable. So this runs through Ethernet, 360 runs through Ethernet into our Ethernet module. So this just plugs straight into the Ethernet module. If you're just running a unit with 360 and there's no other Ethernet devices on the boat, you can plug straight into the back of the unit. But because we've got multiple Solexes, we've got sonar module and 360, we need to run through the switch kit. So we'll get started and get this installed now. Okay, we've got the 360 bracket. We've chosen the port side. Just from a balance point of view, we're going to put the Talon on the starboard side, 360 on the port side. I've got the bracket bolted on with the quick release bracket. So if we come in and have a look at this, you can see we've got the quick release bracket there. So if we ever need to tilt it out of the way, we can. I've got the back part of the 360 bracket there. And then we've now just got to get the angle set for this. So the easiest way to do that is just to get your boat fairly level, and then you're essentially just picking a spot. So I reckon somewhere around there is going to be right. If we need to tweak it at a later date, we can just tweak it from there, but that's about right. So we'll get that buttoned up and then we'll get the 360 transducer installed. Okay, so we've got the bracket all mounted. That's all nice and solid. So to install the 360 transducer, it's just in a slide sort of channel. So we just get that placed, and then just sort of have a bolt handy, and you've got to have it 20 centimeters or 8 inches above the hull. Because we're on the jack plate mount, we're a fair way out, so therefore we don't have a lot of wiggle room. So we've actually got to be reasonably high on this one. And if I grab a ruler, the best way is to just grab a straight edge. You can see there we're only just above the waterline now, or the plating line. So we've got to go up a bit higher. And in actual fact, what we're going to have to do looking at it is move this from its downward position, spin that around to its upward position. And that's going to give us a lot more play. So we'll go ahead and swap that out now, and then we'll have the room we need to get the height that we want. Okay, so we've switched that around. You can see that's now upright, so that gives us a lot more play to get the 360 transducer up a bit higher. So if we just run a couple of straight edges, put the ruler on it, that's just on 20, so that'll be fine in that location. And the idea obviously is when you're up and running, that's well and truly clear the water, so you don't put any undue pressure on the transducer itself. So we'll go ahead and button that up, and we'll move on from there. Okay, so it's now in place and secured. As you can see, it's a little bit taller than where the engine will end up, and hence the tilt bracket. So that just enables it, not so much for towing, but more just for garaging and stuff like that. We can tilt it over and get a lower profile for the overall boat. So there's the tilt bracket. Move on. Okay, so this is all installed now. We've just got to run the wiring. So we've got the power wire to run, and we've also got the Ethernet wire. So 360 runs through Ethernet. So when we looked at how to rig this at the far as the back of the boat, one option would be to bring the cabling down, across and around and in this way. But we're going to go with down and straight in through the transom here. And once again, we're going to use the Scanstrut deck seals. These ones are part number 115664, and these are going to suit both the Ethernet cable and the power cable. And we'll be able to use probably that grommet, but like with the other ones that we've shown you, we have 4 grommet size options, one of which is a blank. So if none of those 3 sort of fit the cable, you can drill your own. And as we've seen before, they come split, so it's nice and easy to get that grommet over when it all buttons up. So we can see there that our outer hole, the cable, the plug's going to well and truly go through, and so that's one of your critical measurements. And your other measurement is your cable size when selecting your deck seal. So they're obviously in the BLA catalogue, so you can check out the right size one to suit your application. So we'll get these installed now. Okay, we've got the 360 mounted, we've got the heading sensor antenna mounted, so that's part of the kit that it comes with, so that cable's run up and in. So for helix installation, that'll just plug straight in. For Solix, you need an adapter, so it goes into the round Solix plug, so they're available. So that's all done, and looks pretty good.